Morning, everyone. I came with another interesting topic related to the children, that is the National Health Policy for Children. Before moving to the policy of the children, let me tell you that what national policy is, right? National health policy or the health policy can be defined as the decisions, they are the acts, they are, the plans that are taken to achieve the health care goals, or we can say the specific healthcare goals within a society. Let me tell you that the health is a basic right, and being healthy is a fundamental right too for every person or for every human being. Being healthy is the fundamental right for every person, and accessing to the healthcare goals or accessing to the healthcare services is a right of every person's, every person too. And if I tell you, according to the World Health Organization, it's an explicit health policy which can know if the health policy is complete, if the health policy is if there's no any kind of doubt, if there's no confusion within the policy, if it's complete and fine, then it will help achieving several things. And what are the things? That means it defines the vision of future. What's that vision of future? The vision of future means as having the imagination, having the hope for the future, or having the perspectives that will be changed. What is in like going on now will be more different, or will be much different in coming times. So having that kind of vision, having that kind of imagination, which changes the life of a person, and likewise the society goals. Next is it outlines the priorities and expected roles of different groups. The different groups have their own roles at their own level, and the different groups are to be prioritized based on their age, based on their the stage. So they have their own roles at their different stages. Next is it builds the consensus and the information to the people. Health policy, yeah, or we can say the policy, or we can say the national health policy, it develops or it brings an awareness within the people, it brings an information within the people, and people get to know related to the health, what we say that health policies, what are the health services, and what are all the things they can go and they can access towards the health stream. And next we will move towards the national health policy for the children. That is the main topic of today's, right? The health policy, as I mentioned before, and health policy for the children. The health policy of the children will see the government of India has adopted a national policy for children too in August 1974, keeping in view the the UN declarations of the rights of the children, as well as the convention of the India related to the children. They have adapted, they have they have given a act for this policy as well, that is given in August 1974. The national health policy children 1974 is the first policy document, that means which specifies the regulations, which gives the the policies, which gives the principles for for the children concerning the needs and concerning their rights for their life, and concerning their fundamental or basic rights. And based on that, it has been a first policy document related to the national health policy for the children, and it comprehensively integrates the interventions that improve the child health, that improve the nutritional states of the child, as well as they give the factors which are contributing to the infant, which are contributing to the under 5 children, as well as the neonates in mortality and morbidity rates. Next, the policy declaration. what the policy declares. The nation's children are its supreme asset. The policy declares that the children, they are the supreme asset, they are the valuable person to the society, and they are the greatest hope for the nation as well. And we can consider the future of the nation is dependent on the children, right? And the future of the children is dependent on a child who is healthy, on a child who is educated, on a child who is developed in a well nourished environment. So, neglecting or ignoring the children, it will be the wastage of the will be the wastage of future, or will be the wastage of the future of the children on which the country relies. Next is the nurture and the solicitude of the children, and it is the responsibility of the state. It is the responsibility of the government that the children are wholly and solely nurtured under the the shade of, under the we can say the protection of the government. As we say, as the plants, they need their growth, for the growth they need the protection, they need the nourishment, and they need the safe environment to build in a big fruit tree, to build in a big fruit bearing trees. Likewise, the children also need their nourishment, they also need to be protected, they need a safe environment to grow into a healthy and a responsible citizen, or a person who can serve the nation. Next, we will see that the children programs are being prioritized or given the priority, and special focus is especially given on the children who are handicapped or who are the destitute children. So it also emphasizes that the children who come under this the section, like handicapped or the destitute children, they need a special focus, they need to be prioritized. And it's again the responsibility of the government that the children, they have to be prioritized for their health, they have to be prioritized for their nutritional needs, and the protection against any kind of harm and any kind of the atmosphere which is not feasible for them. They are to be provided with all kind of necessary facilities where they will grow healthy, where they will be developed in a healthy atmosphere, as well as good quality of health and nutritional security, as well as the protection should be given to the children, especially who are handicapped or who are very poor. Next, we'll see the adequate services are to be provided for the children before and after birth. The necessity services should be provided by the state, and they should ensure that all the services which are needed before the birth of the child, or after the birth of the children, the every services are to be met for those kind of children. And it should be the policy of the state to fill such kind of services through the period of growth, through to ensure their physical, mental, as well as the social development, and they grow in a healthy environment while the mothers are pregnant, and the mothers are given the special care during the period of expectancy, and after the birth both mother and child are to be considered in a special care. Next comes various number of programs were introduced after the declaration of the children, or after the declaration for the children by the government of India. The programs were being made, or the programs were being employed for the children, I mentioned the integrated child development scheme and program nutrition programs, the programs for the nutrition security, the programs as well as for the production of the nutrition food welfare, as well as the programs for handicapped children. And these all programs are to be introduced for the safe motherhood, as well as for the good child survival. Next, we'll move to the National Plan for Action 2005. National Plan of Action for Children 2005. On that basis of National Plan of Action, some of the parameters are to be seen, like The parameters or the objectives or the goals for this action are to reduce the infant mortality rate to below 30 by the year of 2010. The death rates of the infants are to be reduced below the 30 by the year 2010. And what the measures are to be taken for this, the infant rates are to be reduced with the help of, the safe deliveries, with the help of encouraging the best breastfeeding of the birth, and the institutional deliveries, and it should be conducted by the personnel who are expert, by the personnel who are knowledgeable, and by the personnel who are experienced in such kind of things. Next parameter comes to reduce the child mortality rate by 2012, and the child rates, death rates. Again, it has been seen that child death rates are like the child under 5 years of age, they are being seen, during that period, the child deaths are being seen much higher due to the improper nutrition, due to the improper environment, and as well as the wholly and solely they are not being prevented from any kind of nutritional disorders or nutritional problems. So the goal of this plan is again to reduce the child death rates to below 31 by the year 2010. So prevention of the diseases which are threatening, which are fatal to the children, like acute respiratory infections, like diarrhea, like what we say the dengue, and malnutrition. These all things should be managed and prevented to reduce the child mortality rate. And next goal for this is to reduce the mother mortality rate. The mother death rates are again seen at the time of the deliveries, or it should be reduced up to the 100 per 1 lakh by the year 2010. The mother death rates are to be reduced with the keeping in eye that the measures are to be taken during the time of delivery, the safe delivery, and the what we say that basic maternity services are being provided, where the high risk mothers are transferred, where the high risk mothers are transferred to the areas for the special care and special deliveries with the help of trained personnel, and as well as the institutional deliveries are done by the trained personnel. Next, we'll see the universal equitable access and use of a safe drinking water. The safe drinking water should be equally or universally equal to all people, all children who are in the rural as well as who are in the urban areas, and it should be the observation monitoring should be there for the safe water, and it is the responsibility of the state to ensure that all children in the rural as well as in the what we say the urban areas are accessing towards the safe and what we say the use of drinking water. The next is to eliminate the child marriage by 2010. It's one of the goal of this policy for the children. That means the child marriages where the child below the age of 18 years are forced to marriage or forced to be engaged. The restraint for that is to be maintained by providing the opportunity for a child for the education, by providing the access towards the rights of the children, and these things are given, or these things are to be accessed by the children and enjoyed by the children, and so that the child marriage will be restricted and the child marriage will be prohibited. Next, we'll see the eradication of the poliomyelitis by 2007. The again the poliomyelitis, it has increased rate in many of the countries, and especially in the India it was there, but as the constitution, as the policies are being monitored, they are ensuring the children that every child in every household is being vaccinated against this poliomyelitis. Polio vaccine is to be given at the particular schedule. The the awareness among the people, the awareness among the parents and the family related to the polio virus and the polio vaccine is being increased within the society, so that they they go for the vaccination of this polio, or the vaccine of the polio within the scheduled time, and no child is being missed at the time of vaccination. Then ensuring the antenatal care to 80%. Antenatal care to 80% is by providing the safe antenatal visits or safe motherhood, the services during the period of the expectancy. The antenatal visits should be completed by the mother, and during the period of the expectancy, mother has to be given awareness related to the checkups, related to the medication, related to the supplements, and it may result in the safe childhood as well as for the mother safeguard. And next we'll see the reducing malnutrition among the children. The children are the prone, they are the vulnerable to all these things, and especially to the malnutrition, the deficiencies of the food, deficiency of the nutrients. And by taking the measures like what we say, the access to the nutritional services, and with the help of the nutritional programs like midday meals are to be increased, and the parents are giving the nutritional education, and the children are being taken care of by the state or by the government related to all things, and with the help of that, the malnutrition will be reduced among the children. Fine. Next, we'll move to the principles. The principles for a national health policy for children, as being the responsible, what we say, the being the responsible kind of state, the state shall progressively increase the scope of such services within a reasonable time. Within a perfect time, these all things should be met, so that the children enjoy their rights, they enjoy their services to the maximum. And this principles, a comprehensive health programs for all children should be covered, in which the children they enjoy their basic things, in which the children they enjoy their rights at the fullest. Now we'll move to the second principles, and the first one is the health program, comprehensive health programs for all children. So the children they have a right to have health, to be healthy, and a comprehensive health programs and the provision of nutritional services should be provided by the government or should be provided by the state, and they focus on priority behaviors and which contribute to the health, safety, as well as the well-being of the children. How this is to be met? As I told that the health is the basic fundamental for every child, and the children is to be prevented from all kind of health problems, health hazards, by the help of early hospitalization, by providing the weekly checkups, by providing the hospital as well as the school visits, as well as protecting them from the malnourishment. Next principle, that is the provision of nutrition education to expectant and the nursing mothers. All expectant as well as the nursing mothers, they need more and balanced food than the usual mothers, right? So they should be given the the education or the nutrition. They should be told, or they should be given awareness what to have during the this one period of pregnancy, or during the period of nursing, or what not to have, what to avoid during that period. And by this, the mother will come to know what are all the nutrients, what are all the supplementations to be taken during the time, and which will be helpful for not only for the mother but for the baby as well, for the the child as well. And in this, the progress should be implemented for care and nutrition of the mothers. In that, the mothers should be given the accurate nursing and this one nutrition programs, nutrition education to follow during those during that period. Next principle is provision of nutrition services to the children. Provision of nutrient services should be with the objective of providing, the balanced food and removing all kind of nutritional problems like malnutrition, like vitamin deficiencies and other things. And by providing all kind of, the nutritional services, the nutritional security, the nutritional programs, it may help in eradication of such kind of nutritional problems or nutritional hazards which the child is facing, right? And especially I told that the under 5 children are more prone to all kind of things. They should be monitored during the period of growth and development, during the period of, the nutritional status, and it should be accessed and monitored that every child should have an access towards the nutritional, the security, the nutritional programs. Next comes the free and compulsory education up to the age of 14 years. Now, the state shall take an attempt to provide free and compulsory education to the child who are at the age of, or who are up to the age of 14 years, and education is the basic right of every child. This one, the education of for every child, and every child has a right to learn, a right to have an access to the information, a right to, for admissions, right to have a development during the education period. And in this, the preschoolers are to be given, the education, informal education is to be given for the preschoolers, and the attempts are to be made to remove the wastage as well as the stagnation of the children inside the schools. Let me tell you the wastage and the stagnation. Some of the children, they just leave their education before completing their primary schools, before completing their primary education. They just leave at any stage. And the stagnation is when the child is retained inside the same, within the same class for more than 1 year, and what it reaches with the result that the children are not growing in a good environment. They are not having access to the good educational attempts. So the compulsory education should be given to the children, and they should be let free for growing up within their own environment. Next, we'll see the out of school education. Out of school education for those who are not having access to the formal education. Before coming to the main stream, I'll tell you the out of school education, what it is. It is an educational concept where the children are being given opportunity to learn, to have access to the curricular as well as to the non-curricular activities without attending the school. Or we can say that it is an education which is given to the children outside the school environment, where they are enjoying their the formal things, where they are enjoying their activities, the curricular as well as the non-curricular activities, the learning experiences without attending the school. And they are after that they are free to work anywhere within the limited periods or within the limited rules. Next, we'll see the promotion of games, recreation and the activities. Whether it's school area, whether it's community area, the gaming, the recreational activities should be implanted within the areas, within the school. Like baseball is there, like the games which are liked by the children, like what we say that the water balloon is there, right? And what we say that the chalk activities, and the mud pies, and likewise many more games are recreations are there which should be implemented within the area. It helps to improve the physical, it helps to improve the social as well as the the mental side, or we can say the psychological development of the children, and as well as it will help it will help them to grow in a good and confident empowerment, right? Then next we'll see the special programs for children for weaker sections of the society. Let me tell you who are these weaker sections, or who are the people who come under this weaker sections of the society. The weakest section of the people are they do not belong to any kind of category in the society. They are economically weak and they are being discriminated, while there comes against the normal children in the society. They are being discriminated. They are not being given the equal opportunities like the normal children they are taking in the society. So under this thing, under this policy, the special programs are to be given to such kind of sections, such kind of weaker people in the society, and they are given the equal opportunities as the other children are enjoying, and they are giving the equal facilities to grow in a good educational institute, to grow in a good educational policy, as well as to have an access to the opportunities for good education like other students in the society they have. Right? They are not being prioritized against any kind of things. They are not being discriminated regarding their weakness or not belong to any kind of category. So they are giving the equal responsibility. They are giving the equal opportunities like other students. The next comes protection against the neglect, abuse, as well as exploitation. The many the children, they are being abused, they are being they are being harmed, they are being exploited under many things. But the child is for the child should be protected against any kind of force, against any kind of engagement in the abuse forms, in exploitation forms, and they should be protected against the engagement in any kind of what we say, the employment hazards employments, or working or forced to any kind of heavy works. The children are being protected against all kind of cruelty, against any kind of abuse. It can be physically, it can be it can be any kind of torture, it can be a distress or suppression to the child. So the child are being protected under this policy. Next is family support for love, care, and the growth and development of the children. And the measures are being attempted to ensure to ensure the strength between the family ties, and to provide a healthy environment for the children's growth in family, in neighborhood, as well as in the community areas. And the family is being given a healthy pattern, is given a healthy lifestyle, and they are making sure the family ties are being strengthened, so that the child grows in a safe, healthy, as well as in a good, nourishing environment. There are much more principles like others as well, as I'll mention, like the handicapped children, they are being given a rehabilitation program for them. Special focus is being given to them, as well as children, they are being prioritized. They are giving the first priority at the time of the distress, at the time of any kind of relief, and as well as at the time of any natural calamity. So likewise, there are so many principles which are to be which are to be maintained, which are to be what we say that which are to be grown throughout the policy, so that the children enjoys the rights, children enjoys the protection, children enjoys their own safe environment to the full maximum, right? Next, we will move towards the national policy for the children 2013. As the Constitution of India has guaranteed the fundamental rights of the children in the country and empowered to make special provisions to them. Based on that, the Government of India adopts the resolution on the national policy for the children on 26th April 2013. So based on that, a conventional the provisions, based on all that, the promise. So the national policy for this for the children on this 2013, and it recognizes some of the things, that is, a child is a person or a human being which has not attained the age of above 18 years. That means a person or a human being who is below the age of 18 years. And the policy says that the childhood is an integral part. It's the finest part of everyone's life, and it has its own value, and it values of its own. And the childhood, every person goes through this part, everyone crosses this part, and the at every one stage it has its own value, it has its own means. It recognized that the multisectoral and the multidimensional approach is very necessary for the rights of the children, as the any kind of sectors like private, like public, or any kind of social or any kind of third party, where they work together, they collaboratively work together, and as well as the cognitive factors, as well as the physical, environmental, other factors, they all work together. They are independent to one another for making sure to secure the rights of the children, right? And as the Constitution of India guaranteed fundamental rights, to affirm those rights, the government of India hereby adopts this resolution on the policy for children 2013 on 26th April 2013. The policy has identified four key priorities. Four key priorities are like the policy has prioritized the four key, identified the four key priorities. That is, the policy has identified four key priorities. That is the survival. In this, the right of every child to be alive, or right of every child to be to have a life or to survive on this earth. Next is health and nutrition. The right to be healthy and to have access to the nutrition is the another right of the children. So having the access towards the healthy services, being healthy in manner, and have a normal nutritional or balanced nutritional or the balanced a pattern is everyone's right. For that means the children. And education and the development, every child has an educational right, has has a right to be developed in a secure and the protected environment, and protection and the participation. Every child's right to be protected against any kind of harm, any kind of abuse, or any kind of exploitation or the neglect. And as well as the child has an active part of role or active role in the participation in the community activities, in the school, or wherever the child is given a right to participate, right? Next, we will move towards the another important portion of this topic, that is the legislation related to the children or the child welfare, right? Before moving to that, let me tell you what legislation is. The legislation is a process of making law or enacting law. It can be enacted or it can be made by the state, by the local, as well as the national legislatures, right? So the children or the child welfare legislation, it includes such laws and acts through which the child is being protected, the child is being rehabilitated, and the welfare is given, especially to the children who are having the conflict with the law. For them, the laws, the regulations are being made under this system. The various acts related to the child welfare are: first one is the Children's Act. The Children's Act 1960. The children, they are the hope. The children, they are the future of everyone's society. So the Children's Act has been amended also in the 1977. It provides for the care, it provides the protection, it provides the rehabilitation, as well as it provides the training, education, and the welfare for the children who are delicate, who are very poor, and who are not having any kind of access towards the facilities. It covers the neglected and the destitute children, and it covers the children who are socially handicapped, who are being neglected or who are uncontrollable or who are victimized. Let me tell you, the children who come under under this act is like neglected child, whom we call the neglected child. Neglected child, like, who are found begging, who are found often, who are found with the prostitute, or we can say the child who is without home. And other children under this act are like the children who are from the parents with leprosy, who are found with the parents with unsound mind, as well as the girl who is not secure in any kind of area. Such children can be taken charge by the state, taken charge by the agencies by the state, and as well as the child needing care, protection, or any kind of the assistance are coming under this act. The next act, which is the Juvenile Justice Act 1986. This act is now replaced by new Juvenile Justice, that is the Care and Protection of the Children Act 2000. So it was replaced by the Act 2000, and this act imposes on the state, it imposes a primary responsibility on the state, that to ensure the needs of the children are met, and as well as the basic rights are enjoyed by all the children in the country. In this act, the juvenile is a child, which means a person who is below the age of 18 years, who has attained the age of 18 years, and as well as a delinquent juvenile is the one, or a juvenile who has found to have committed a crime, or who has found to committed any kind of offense, right? And some of the special features of this act, I'll tell you that this act provides a uniform legal information, or it provides a uniform legal framework for all children in the country, so that no child under any circumstances is being put under the jail, or who is being put inside the lockup, or police lockup, we can say, right? And under this act, the child's contact with the police has been reduced to the minimum, as well as the children's homes are made in every district. It is the responsibility of the state. It says that in every district the child homes or the children's home should be there, because at the time of inquiry, or during the time of inquiry, that the child receives the care, protection, or any kind of the need within that children's home till the inquiry is completed. And next comes the Child Labor Prohibition and the Regulation Act 1986. Again, the act says the child is a person, or any person who is under the age of 18, or who has not attained the age of 18, and the act is to prohibit the engagement of children in any kind of, or in any engagement of the employment which is hazardous, which is not suitable to the children, or which is forcibly which is forcibly given to the children without any kind of rules, without any kind of regulations. This act protects children to be employed in certain kind of occupations, or certain kind of employment which are totally dangerous, which are the workplaces which are totally unsafe for the children. And I'll tell you the main features under this Child Labor Act is that no child should be allowed or permitted to work in any occupations, like any kind of, which is like transport of passengers, or transport of goods to the railway, and catering, constructions, or any kind of the slaughtering homes. Child shouldn't be attempt to work over their areas, and no child should be permitted to work in processing areas, the workplaces like processing in which the beadi making, the carpet weaving, or we can say the cement manufacturing, as well as the cloth dyeing or the mica cutting. No child should be allowed to work more than 3 hours without rest of without the rest in intervals of at least 1 hour, and no child should be allowed to work from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. And it is the responsibility of the government to have a look, to have an observation over the environment where the child is working, if if allowed, and check the environment facilities, check the availability for the children, like the rest period, like the nutritional status given at the place of work, and other important things. Next comes the Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929. This act was made to restrain child marriage, and according to this act, the child marriage is a marriage of a girl or a boy not attained the age of, or not attained the minimum age of marriage, which is embodied by the law of certain countries, or law of the country where the child is residing. And according to this act, the child means a person who, if male, has not attained the age of 21 years, and if female has not attained or reached the age of 18 years, right? And according to this act, the minor is a child who is under the age of 18 years, who is still the age of 18 years if boy or if male or a female. The key features of this act is that punishment of a male adult if below 21 years is given a simple punishment of imprisonment at least of 15 days, as well as fine of 1,000 rupees. And if the the person for the marriage, or the boy who is above, or the adult who is above the age of 21 years, has to be given a simple imprisonment of the punishment of at least 3 months, and he should be made liable for the fine. And again, this Child Marriage Restraint Act says that if any parent or the guardian is involved in such kind of act or in such kind of contract of marriage, they should be given an imprisonment of up to the 3 months imprisonment, as well as they also should be liable to fine, right? So next we'll move to the next act, that is the Education for All Handicapped Children Act 1975. This act was passed in 1975, and it has been amended and revised many times, and this law was recently amended by Individuals with Disabilities Education Improvement Act 2005. The law, or the act, mandate states education agencies to develop the plan to provide all facilities, or to provide all educational facilities to the children who come under the disabilities, who are the handicapped children, who are all coming under the handicapped the forms, like the children who are having the orthopedic, who are having the intellectual disabilities, the children who are having the hearing loss, who have the auditory disabilities, the children who have the what we say, the disabilities of any kind of the physique, and who have the visual difficulties or other associated disimpairments. And likewise, the key features for this act is like children with hearing loss, or the children who have the auditory process or disorders are qualified, or being qualified, or they have the access to qualify the services under their act. And it provides for mainstreaming of education, that means the practice and the learning equalities, or the learning experiences are given to the handicapped children in the regular classrooms, and they are being taught, they are being given the the whole facilities, whole scenario of the classroom as the normal children are taking class, or the normal children are residing, or where the normal children are learning the skills, learning the education. And as well as the children who have the problems with their physique, with their intellectual, with their other disabilities which I mentioned before, they should be given the equal opportunities to grow in us in an educational environment, to have an access towards all kind of information, and to let them enjoy the fullest rights which are given to them according to the law or the legislations. Next, we'll move to the Child Abuse Prevention and the Treatment Act 1974. Again, the child is a person who has not attained the age of 18 years, and when the child is being distressed, when the child is being abused, exploited, or harmed, and the act should work, and act should have an assessment, act should have an observation and maintenance to ensure all the child are being protected, all the child are getting the prevention, rehabilitation who are the victim of such abuse and exploitation, and they should be protected from all kind of harms. This act is a federal law that provides the grants to the state, and that helps to support the prevention and assessment, investigation, as well as the prosecution, treatment of the child who are abused or who are neglected. This act is aimed to protect the child from any kind of abuse, like it can be sexual abuse, it can be the mental abuse, it can be any kind of torture, it can be any kind of the stress or the child, or any kind of harmness or the child. And to provide or to protect such things, the measures are to be taken, like the victim protection, investigation protocols, the court procedures, and as well as the punishment means for the person who are being involved in such kind of crime. They should be investigated, they should have such all kind of court procedures done within this act. And according to this act, it defines the child abuse and the neglect means any act or the failure to act from the parents or from any kind of caregiver who is taking care of the child, which leads to the death, which leads to the serious physical or the emotional phase, which leads to the sexual abuse or any kind of exploitation. And the child abuse, we can say the sexual abuse, they can lead to the employment or assisting in any kind of sexual works, sexual assigns, or we can say the child used or employed in the prostitutions and all those things. And under this, the major provisions are under this act. It provides assistance to the states to develop child abuse and neglect prevention progress. So it helps the state to proceed to have a progress, the state to have a progress work towards the protection of the child abuse and the neglect. It authorities government research into the child abuse and for the treatment and rehabilitation of the victims, and the created within the Department of Health, Education and Welfare, that the rehabilitation and services to be provided for the abused and the neglected children, as well as for the exploited, the children who are the victim of such harm or such kind of abuse. And the basic state grants for the training personnel and to support the programs aimed at preventing and treating the child mistreatment. These all things should be kept in consideration. These all things are to be cared, because a child is the future of the nation. They are the hope for the vision of the future. They are actually as I mentioned, the supreme asset of the nation. If these children are to be neglected, if these children are if they are ignored, it will be totally the waste of the waste of the source. It will be the waste of the source of the nation, at which the child relies on, at which the society brings that brings a future which helps nation to be a developed country. And the children, they are also the citizens of children, which will help to serve the nation if they are taking care under the good education, under their good development. And they will definitely be the super assets. They will definitely be the responsible citizens who will serve the nation at all. This was the topic related to the national health policy for the children, and under this we have seen, the national health what is the health policy, and I have mentioned the national health policy for the children, and under this I have mentioned some of the the key features. I have mentioned the legislation. In legislation, I mentioned the laws which are protecting the children, which are providing the measures to have an access towards the nutrition, to have an access towards the education, to have an access towards all kind of rights which are which are embodied by the government, which are embodied by the declaration, United Nations declarations, as well as the convention, and such all things will help in the growth. They will have an access to the nourishing child. They will just result in a fruitful and the meaningful citizen of the nation. Thank you.